welcome back guys, it's Luke here from the Chunky Travellers. Today we are finally hooking into the rebuild side of this. We've got our crank back, our head's not far away, a couple of dodgy valves we're sorting out. The seats, we're just getting the seats touched up, they were a bit pitted too. Other than that, pretty much ready to rock and roll. So for now though, we've got this crank here that they've done for us. So pretty much just copped a polish, standard size, which is great because I got a bit carried away and ordered my bearings before I got my crank done. Don't ask me why, late night shopping online, but it worked out good because now the bearings are already here, crank's ready, let's assemble. So yeah, that's what we're going to take you through, reassembling Barra's Barra 2.0. I'm pretty excited for it actually because not a huge amount of changes, but a few cool parts, the new balancer, new timing chain gear and stuff. But yeah, it's always nice to get into the season with fresh bearings and that sort of thing. So I've got high hopes for this motor. I think it should do well. I can't see why we should have any more dramas. I feel like we've sort of fixed all the stuff that should have broken or will have broken. So yeah, enough about that, let's get straight into it, eh? Alright, so what we've done, you've already seen us pull all this apart, but this is the main caps here. So this one's got the rear seal in it, so it'll be a bit more painful to get off. So that's all they are. That's your main cap and your bearing in here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pop these all off. There's what's that, 2, 4, 6, 7 of them. So we're going to pop all the main caps off, do all the bearings on that, set it aside. Then we're going to undo our con rods, all 6 of them, and then we're just going to push them to the top of the ball so that it doesn't interfere with our crank, and then our crank should just pop right out, clean up a new one, throw it straight in. Alright, so these are our bearings we just got from ACL. Never had any dramas with them, so we just stuck with them. These are just all standard size. So we're just going to push them down till they bottom out, or till they are flush with the bottom. So we definitely don't want, oh no. That one's just about come out anyway. Alright, so that's the first part of your conrod bearings done. Now we're just going to clean up our actually, let's throw in our big end bearings. Alright, so you'll know which one to use because it'll come with 2 packs. There'll be a lower section bearing and an upper section bearing. Your thrust bearing will be on the block. So it'll go your 3rd one from the back. And this is just the same process. It's the same process. All you want to do is just line up your little tang, push it on, level them out. That's pretty much it. Line it up, push it on. So your 3rd one's your thrust, so we'll go to the 4th one, push that on. Thrust, so it has a center. You'll know it too because it's got the little tang goes in the center on the thrust bearing. So you got that. That'll be a pretty good way to tell which one's your thrust if you've forgotten or new at it. Alright, so that's conrods and mains. Now we've been using this Star lube. It's just an engine assembly lube. It's got moly graphite in it. So it just needs a little squirt of that on each bearing. Alright, so that's the big girl unwrapped. Yeah, so you can see it just a nice polish up. That's all they've had to do on this one, which was lovely. So all we have to do is give it the clean up like I was saying before. And how I do that, if I can get rid of this, doesn't matter. I just use brake cleaner. It's good for everything. Cheaper the better. Not really, but cheap is good for us. And all I do, just sort of go through all the oil galleries, make sure I blow them out, give it all in case they've got any like of their any chemicals or whatever they've used to once they put it on the machine to with their grind. Just it'll get all that off. Punch it down all the galleries. Turn it over so you can get all the other ones too. So these are for your conrods. Get all that. Get it all. And lovely. That's pretty much all it is. Give it a hit with that. Wipe over with the rag. she's pretty much good to go in the motor now. So that's all it is, doesn't need anything special. We'll lube up the faces with that assembly lube before it goes in. And but yeah, that's pretty much all you're after. Just be sure you get all the galleries, that's the main thing. Other than that, pretty simple. Alright, crank in. Now just the process of wiping off and swapping out the bearings on our con rods. And just a bit of a lube in that one too. And obviously make sure to keep an eye on where all your numbers, like for mine, all the numbers, well probably on most of them, are on this, what would that be, the turbo side of the engine. So you keep all them the same, and the rotation you want to keep the same, especially for your main caps. Alright, so torquing the con rods, they are, says 25 newton meters and then a further 90 degrees. So 25. Alright, sorry about that guys, the camera got hot, had it up against the shed wall. So I think the last thing you seen was we started putting the main caps on. I've got all them done now while the camera was cooling, and all the bolts on here. So all we're going to do, all I do is just zip them up. Cool. So that's, obviously we'll torque them now, so they'll they'll get torqued to 84 Newton meters in that circular pattern that I like to do. And then we'll start throwing the oil pump on the front, pickup. Sump I won't be able to throw on today. It's I've actually got it at the workshop. I'm gonna gurney a whole heap of parts for this thing, get ready to paint some stuff. But yeah, so I'll torque these up and then we'll throw the pump and pickup on. So we've got our pump on there, get our bolts in to that. It's very super simple, this stuff, this bit. Line them in. Alright, so then this is our pickup, and it just goes onto these middle nuts here. Some of them are different, I've noticed. These ones a bit excessive, but it'll work. Yeah, there's a couple of different ones where they're just single bolts, but this one has the double, and that sits, hopefully sits into there. There we go. Nut on there, nut on there, bolt in there. And just make sure your seal is still on, just the O-ring's still on there, because yeah, it's a pretty quick way to not have any oil pressure. Tight. There we go. So that is the bottom end done. So we've got crank in, pistons connected, or conrods connected. We've got this last one that I wouldn't have showed you. You got to make sure you put silicone or sealant on the end of that one. So big end's got new bearings, main's got new bearings. They're tightened to 84 Newton meters. You're just seeing that installed. Make sure there's an O-ring. They're all an 8mm headed bolt. Oil pump has just got 4 of those 8mm headed bolts in it. If you want to see the oil pump, that's the last episode we put that together. But that is the bottom end ready to rock and roll. So once we get our head here and I've cleaned up some parts, we can throw the sump on, the head on, the timing, and then go obviously cams and jump into the timing. So that should, yeah, that's going to come together really quickly. But that's pretty much the bulk of it. Yeah, that's the bulk of it. That's all the hard stuff. So the rest of it's just cruisy. Throw some head studs, throw a head on, timing gear, rocker cover, throw it in, go do skids at Rocky Nuts is the plan. So we're actually, I feel like we're ahead of time with the old Rocky Nuts. I think we're probably just over a month away from Rocky Nuts. So this is a good place. Well, ideally we wouldn't be building motors this close to Rocky Nuts, but we are. But this is, I feel like we're in a good place. So this is, I've probably honestly got 4 or 5 more hours worth of work to do on this motor once all our bits and pieces get here. Yeah, throw it all together. Then we just got a couple of brake line bits to do on the car, just check over a few steering components and that sort of thing. But then other than that, ready to rock and roll. So but yeah, anyway, we'll jump into installing the head and the timing gear on this thing. So yeah, hang around.